Hello, everybody. Just getting set up here. I hope you guys are doing well. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh, and this little furry guy here is Apollo. Welcome. So we're going to basically looking at the Libra Sun, Rising, and Moon messages for the next 6 to 8 weeks. The way that I like to look at this is basically as a roadmap. So Libra, welcome. We're going to see the possibilities, and this is an exciting month ahead. Actually, a very exciting week ahead, an auspicious time for all of us to be gathering and looking at things because, as you know, we have a Mercury retrograde that's going to be happening here around Thursday or Friday, and we have an eclipse, and we also have a new moon. So this is the perfect time to look at what's coming and basically make the appropriate plans. So welcome, everybody. We're going to begin with channeled messages at the beginning. Then we'll take a look at the Celtic Cross to allow the cards to show some additional insights. And then we have some other pieces here, including sun, rising, and moon messages, which is also important. So let's dig in and see what came through this morning in dreams and meditation. Some pretty powerful messages, actually, about like letting go of the old facade. And this is the perfect time to do that. Retrograde is a time to basically look at things that no longer serve you in your life and say, all right, done, graduated that, let's move on to the next thing. One of the other things that I saw here was I'm adding this bullet in as we speak, but adding some boundaries in your life. I think that's going to be really important. And it's sometimes hard, right, Libra, to say what you need to say, but this is what you need to be doing in this period here. So releasing facades, using your own voice, and establishing boundaries. Let's move into the first message that I got. So this reminded me almost like that old Lady Gaga video where her face was smeared with makeup, but someone was taking off this face of makeup, basically, and I got this sense of fatigue, but then liberation. It was like, I'm tired of trying to be someone that you want me to be, but not necessarily who I am. And the message I got from this is you just want to be yourself. That's why I put this star on here. So whatever job you want, work that job. Whoever you want to love that person. If you want to be alone, doesn't matter. Wear what you want to wear, do what you want to do, live and let live. We live many, many lifetimes, but we only live this one once. And at the end of the day, we don't owe anybody an explanation for the way that we live it or what we want to do except ourselves. We talked about this on the weekend, imagining that it was the last day and thinking, did I accomplish what I set out to do? As long as you're accomplishing that, you're generally helping people around you, it doesn't matter. So remove the facade, step into the star energy, and really embrace the true you. This is a time for a kind of breakthrough or breakout for you. But I did see sort of like the letting go of something that was familiar to others, but not to you. Usually we know internally when we've kind of like need to shed our skin, or we've outgrown a part of our life. And I definitely got that for Libra, that could be coming through right now and pretty clearly too. And again, I think the main thing is not to feel guilty for doing something that you know is right for you. Never feel guilty for doing the right thing. Okay, moving on to the next message here. This was weird. I was watching someone speak, but different voice, so it was basically out of sync. So either lip syncing or mind needing to catch up to the mouth. Could be a little bit of both. The main thing here I would say is take your time, speak for yourself, allow others to speak for themselves. And I chose the page here because he or she always listens and looks back and they're like, did I miss anything? Did I catch everything that I needed to? So taking that extra moment right now over the course of the next month is going to be absolutely essential, right? So slow and steady, and then really making sure that you understand what you're hearing and that other people understand you as well, okay? And then the next piece, creating a sustainable pattern or cycle. I was looking at someone who I just kept watching the clock go later and later and later and later. So on rare occasion, we can burn the candle at both ends, but it isn't sustainable. You want to have something that's sustainable and fruitful. So saying no, engaging with the energy of the Six of Pentacles is going to be really important. And if there's any energy or time sinks around you, basically it's almost like it's draining you when you spend time and energy with a person or doing something for a living. It's just like, I can't do this anymore. Then don't do that anymore. Start to move into a path where you sense a little bit more return on energetic investment. The biggest thing, and this is what woke me up this morning, was this feeling of needing to establish boundaries. I saw a metaphor for your life, which was just shown as a house in my dreams. and there were various ways to get in, whether it was a window or front door, back door, whatever. The space was wide open. I didn't see a lot of furniture in it yet. And I just got the sense that people were coming and going as they wanted, or some people were just coming in when you hadn't invited them. And so establishing boundaries, putting some locks in place, putting some boundaries and borders in place. It's important to feel safe, to have time to think. And we don't have to just have our time as this ever-present sort of barrage of people coming in and out. It's okay to say no. Again, that Six of Pentacles energy spilling over a little bit on this one. I chose justice because there might be a need to sort of spell out or quantify what it is that is acceptable, what isn't, what's expected. So when it comes to contracts, get it written. Don't just sort of have a handshake there. I think that's going to be really important. The third bullet is the key one. Create proper boundaries, clear up any ambiguities in communication, and clamp down on any behavior that is disrespectful of your time, energy, and resources. The other thing that was interesting is I picked up a phone to try to call for help, but it was all in another language. So the other thing that I got here is that, again, with coding, encoding and decoding messages, we do this all the time. It might be clear in my head, but you may have a different sort of understanding of certain words or certain ways of doing things. So let's just make sure that we're both encoding and decoding things at the same time, because something was lost in translation here. So just to summarize, and then we'll get into the reading today. This is a time to be yourself and to take off the old skin, the old face, and basically say, I'm ready to do this and I'm really standing behind this. I feel confident about it. I feel like this is a metamorphosis and it's the final phase. It's like the butterfly breaking free of the chrysalis. Don't let other people speak for you. We did talk about this on the weekend. The Five of Swords works this way sometimes, where someone tries to get you to agree, like, isn't that right? Or I think we can all agree to this. And you could say, well, actually, I don't. I have some questions. So it's not you being contrary. It's just you speaking up and saying, that's not the correct record. Don't say that. Or I never agreed to do this. Or show me where in the contract I agreed to do this. Always ask the question to make sure that it's not something like that. And then speak up. Raise your hand. Your voice matters. I chose the page. It's not the senior most card, but it can be the most impactful, because the voice of reason doesn't have to be someone who's a higher up. It can be anyone in the chain of command. So every voice matters, and never underestimate the power of a question. And then again, sustainable schedules and boundaries. Both of these go hand in hand. So some really important messages for success. And as we look at the cards here, I'm hoping to see kind of like just an energetic pulse on what this month has in store for everybody. Welcome again. If you just joined, we're going to be looking at Libra, Sun, Rising, Moon, Venus, but I focus mostly on Sun, Rising, and Moon. Welcome, and thank you so much for taking some time with me. You have a lot of choices here on YouTube, and I'm really honored that you decided to hang out for the next hour or so with me. Thank you so much to the folks that joined as members today. I will say a personal thank you at the end. That's helping me do new projects like podcasts, which is something that I hope to launch by the end of the summer or early autumn. So thank you. Same thing for those who gave super stickers. All right, let's focus now on Libra and the messages that want to come through for May. Ooh, we love the world. And you came through right at the top there, Queen of Swords. The Star is fantastic as well. Actually, let's do this one for your catalyst. Don't worry if you can't see it. I'll make sure that I bring everything up to the camera. Let me just get all of these laid out first. Yeah, I just refreshed all my Oracle decks. I try to do that once a month as I go through all the signs. let's get all of this organized and we'll begin. Okay, so starting off with your catalyst, it's a pretty good card. Helen of Troy. Couldn't be a better card when it comes to attraction and manifestation. This is a super magnetic card, the face that launched a thousand ships, right? So what we want to avoid, the card is in reverse. We really don't want to have war. We really don't want to have competition. But I love Helen's magnetic energy, her ability to call in passion and interest and intrigue and get basically rallying some support and forces behind you. So if you're trying to organize a team, if you're trying to get some traction or movement, this portends some pretty good things. Really make sure that you're not afraid to sort of step into the foreground, because Helen of Troy would definitely be connected with the star energy. And that was something that I pulled for you when I was looking at basically just our general messages and the channeled messages. So we see the star energy here, and the reason that it's important is because your face, your visage, your name, your voice, all of that stuff that I was talking about is what gets people behind it, because they can sense passion, authenticity, because they're interested in you. So it's you that gets to move whatever you are interested in forward. Don't give away the power to someone else to speak for you. And that's really what Helen of Troy is saying. And it is worth fighting for something that you care about. You have a good chance of getting what you want. I'm looking at her more as the ability to launch and basically attract. So launch a project and then attract opportunities, because she's a very attractive sort of energy and symbol. All right, now we're going to take a look at the Celtic Cross. Again, this is for the next 6 to 8 weeks. Focusing on your two centermost cards. I love them. We have the Knight of Pentacles in reverse, which is about you investing and moving and working on yourself. And then we have an expansive card right on top of it, the World. So let's start with the Knight of Pentacles. So a Knight in reverse is basically, look at all the beautiful sunflowers all around this Knight as well. Isn't that a gorgeous card? So the reversal of this is saying, okay, I'm going to pause for a moment here, and I'm going to take a little bit of this, take a little bit of this, and make some changes in my life. It's like spring gardening, right? Or even for those of you in the Southern Hemisphere where you get ready for the winter. You have to clean things out, and that's what this is first. So cleaning up the different parts of your figurative house. This can be your finances. This can be your personal affairs, people in your life. And it's basically saying, I always am going to have time to move forward. He's even sitting here and pausing for a moment, looking around. So whenever a Knight is reversed, they're basically saying, if I make a slight adjustment in trajectory here, if I move a little bit of these resources here, and if I take my time and spend it on this, I can be more effective. So not necessarily spinning the wheels faster, but aiming the sort of GPS in the right direction and working smarter. So rather than a 12-hour workday, this might be an 8-hour workday, but getting everything done and then having all of this abundance. Look at all of the fertility energy around him. I love that. And even just him coming through this beautiful sort of like green man, basically. So with the reverse, you have not just permission, but encouragement to invest in yourself, to move things around, and to focus on what feels like it's going to sustain and move you to the next sort of natural piece of your life, okay? This could mean for some of you deciding to go back to school, deciding to change careers, deciding to take some savings and invest them in yourself or a business. We get an expansive card on top of this, which is auspicious, the World. World is like the best card I can pull in the major arcana. I mean, for obvious reasons. It combines everything that we just talked about and puts it to practice. And for many of you, this could mean that there could be additional exposure for you. So if you're trying to get attention for business, for instance, this could be something really taking off. This can also be a chance for publication, distribution, or even attention at large. And again, these are fantastic. So this is the driving force, and this is how you show up. So not only you're above the World, which is good. The World is spinning and it's looking, and then you're coming through as that guiding light. It's a good month, Libra. Yeah, there's a couple challenges interspersed, but you're going to be really nicely positioned for success. If we just take a scan of the cards in front of us, they're all good. particularly the key ones. We'll work on the past. That's the thing that's coming up in retrograde now. But the near future is Ten of Pentacles. The outcome is the Queen of Cups. Yeah, you're stressed a little bit. Yeah, your head is spinning, but for good reasons. Again, big changes, more attention, and possibly like new love or new career opportunities coming through. So I would imagine there'd be stress or insecurity as you're kind of moving into some of these things, because you might even just be pinching yourself and thinking, is this really happening? Yes, it is. Let's figure out what's going on so you're ready for it. In the deep past, we have the Five of Pentacles in reverse. You don't have to sell yourself short anymore. Maybe in the past you felt guilty for saying, I don't want to do this, or this isn't enough for me, or I'm not interested, or don't treat me like that. You're standing up for yourself because you value yourself more. The reason that we typically have Five of Pentacles in our past can be because at a point when we really needed the nurturing energy here that's kind of symbolized by Mother Mary. But what happens is usually there's two wounded individuals in the Five of Pentacles, both needing help, both wanting to reach out, but they don't reach out to one another, and they don't enter the shelter. There's always like a church, a mosque, or some sort of shelter behind them. But for whatever reason, people are either afraid to ask for help, or they're afraid to turn to each other, or they lack the capacity. So some point in your life, you needed someone, but they didn't have the tools, the capacity, or the wherewithal to help you. And then maybe because you didn't get it, you think, I'm not worth it. Nope, it was just bad timing, and the past doesn't have to repeat if you can learn from it. The lesson right now is you're worth all of this and a ton more. You got double that coming through. Look at all the work you've done on yourself. The Ten of Pentacles is coming through. So this is definitely in the deep, deep past, but it could be presenting itself in relationships, in accepting things, or in asking for things, or in speaking up for things. And so don't be afraid. I mean, Libra, you're one of the best communicators out there. So sometimes it's hard to be assertive. It's easy to be diplomatic. It comes with the nature of the sign, but to be assertive, it's a little trickier. And that's really the key to success. That's the key that's going to also keep some of the crazy stuff out of your sort of like energetic house, which I was picking up on. You can say no to some things. You can say yes to others. Which doors are you opening? Which ones are you locking? That's where your power is, Libra. Okay? Let's look at this. I'm excited for this. We have the Six of Cups. You deserve a seat at the table. This is actually even an answer to the previous one. So this is wondering, can I get in? Will you listen to me? Yes. Look at how diverse this table is. It's all imaginary creatures. It's a little kid's table with all their toys at it, basically, right? It's super cute. So this is basically saying you've done the work on yourself. You deserve it. But again, it boils down to believing in yourself and making sure that you don't second guess that. I'm just going back here and I want to make sure. So yeah, this one was also reversed. I just wanted to look at the live replay to make sure that I hadn't forgotten that. So with this in reverse, there's a few things coming through. Again, if someone comes into your life and they say, I think you're amazing, I think you'd be perfect for this, or they ask you out on a date, or they want to spend more time with you, it's because they like you, because you're worth it. All of the attractive and all of, except for the Star and the World, all of the sort of power cards were reversed. So I want to get you into your power, Libra. You're lovable, you're worthy, you're extraordinary. You've got this ability to bring in some really great sort of energy. So you deserve a seat at that table. And it's not your imagination, because these are a bunch of imaginary friends. So what you've been envisioning could actually start to come into fruition. And then there's always that, uh-oh, am I awake moment? You're wide awake. And this is when things start to get exciting. There could be someone from your past. If this is a karmic partnership coming through, the most important thing to work on is, again, unconditional love and acceptance of yourself and of that other person. And then also reciprocity. There's not enough. This person, if again, until you heal yourself, you'll keep pulling in Five of Pentacles and ostensibly Five of Swords energy too. So work on personal healing and loving yourself, and then doing things that you love, and then you'll call in some of these friends at the table. But there could be new love, and usually when it's Six of Pentacles, or Six of Cups rather, it is karmic in nature, easy to make their acquaintance, And then the main thing that if you've both worked on yourself and done the healing, this won't even come through. It's just going to be like, where did this come from? And it will happen quicker than you imagine. So I like that. Okay. This could also show like a parental energy, which also showed up here, the Queen and the Knight. A little bit of a power struggle could be coming through in some of these karmic relationships where the other person thinks that they can tell you what to do, or you're afraid to speak up. So don't be afraid. You guys are on an even platform as far as I'm concerned. This is a great time for also reaching out, and we talked about organizing things. So whether it's a fundraiser, whether it's a family reunion or a party, or just a smaller gathering with friends, this is a time to see others and to be seen by others. All three of these cards, Six of Cups, Ten of Pentacles, and the Star, also the World, which I'm holding, all four of these are visible cards. And the Helen of Troy is a very visible thing. So it's about getting out of your shell, perhaps a little bit. And then once you've put the boundaries in place, you can show people when, where, and how to show up. Okay? Cool. Crowning cards, you got two. And I always like to honor it when the two come together. So this could represent a partnership. You came through as the leading voice here, which is important. And this reminds me a little bit of Athena, the way that it's all organized. But we also have like Medusa and but that's Athena's owl there. So I really think this is Athena. Anyway, be strong, be outspoken, be the highest possible version of Libra that you can be, which is kind of like justice, which represents Libra. Fair, outspoken, and clear. And that's what this is really saying. You have a partner that wants to come in to help you. They might be able to get rid of some of the sort of boundaries or distractions around you. They may also help you see the opportunity in a challenge. And I like that. And so delegation and teamwork and partnership doesn't have to be romantic, folks, but I see another person coming in and they're definitely bringing a spark of passion and light and life to your life. So I like that. But remember, your voice is the voice that matters. So never lose that voice. In romantic partnerships, I'll take a Queen and a Knight. I like things that are grouped very closely. So King and Queen, King and King, Queen and Queen. But if it's one rank away, it's pretty even, but there's still a little bit of control that happens here. Much better if a Knight and a Page are together, or a King and a Queen. With this, at least it's you, but there might be this thing where sometimes the other person is coming through and trying to be seen and heard, and we want to make sure that that's there. So if it's a partnership and it's not like a love partnership, you're on the level, and that's going to be the challenge this month, is hearing and seeing each other as equal. Things could get serious quickly. You could be asked to sign a contract for work. Ten of Pentacles can definitely represent finances, work opportunities. Another reversal, still a really positive card. Don't get caught up in things that are sort of shiny. Really look at the fine print on this, because I'm looking at all these people dancing around. It looks like it's fun, but we really want to get to the bottom of it and make sure that this is something that you understand and believe in. So if there's a new job contract on the horizon, make sure that you've looked at things like the retirement, chances for moving up in the company, looking at the sort of like the people that you're working with, and also the expectations, how much overtime, how much, all of that stuff. Really get to the fine details. But it could get serious. So even if you're asked to freelance for somebody, they may come in and say, you know what, we decided we just don't want the risk of losing you, so they want to pull you in, or they want to extend the contract. And there's a chance to get a little bit more if you ask, maybe 10%, or maybe in the multiple of 10 or something like that. So a little bit, not a lot of negotiation, but a little bit. Let me see if there's anything else that I want to talk about for that. I think that's it for jobs and resources. I will say this, if you're looking for something, it comes from people that you know. So we look here across the center. These are friends, family, and peers. And then this is someone that knows someone, and they can connect you to that. And this could be a really big movement. The world can represent having to move for love or work. It could also represent someone hearing about you and you don't know about them. So it's word of mouth that's going to bring partnership into your life. This can be love that ends up being marriage. So you could also be meeting someone that you're going to have around for a while, or they're interested in something more, and you have to ask yourself, am I on the same page? Do we want the same thing? This is an important thing right now. Definitely make sure that you're looking at the bottom line. You should be signing the checks. You should be understanding your finances. they're headed in a right direction. I know for some of you there may have been challenges in the past, but it is going towards the more fruitful and abundant direction here as we're looking at the future. Let's talk about you, but let me get a drink first. Okay, so such a great card. Nicely aligned with taking off the facade, taking off the makeup. The star card typically is what we saw in the slide presentation earlier. I'll pull it up for just a second. But basically it's saying, I'm not afraid to show who I am, and I'm not afraid to do what I want to do. It comes with age and experience. Like the older you get, I think the bolder you're able to be, and without apologies. So the reason that the star card has no clothing is not to be sort of salacious. It's just saying there's no boundaries, there's no boundaries, but there's no sort of like facades basically. So it is a time to remove that facade and be yourself, step out of the metamorphosis and embrace the opportunity that wants to present itself. All right, let's specifically look at the energy on this card because it's gorgeous. All right, so we see a constellation basically, right? And there's this ability for you to, even if you're not comfortable with it, Libra, there's a chance for you to be someone that people look up to. And they're looking at you as their own sort of superstar. Like, I really admire this about you or that about you. And so it could be a friend, a peer, a sibling. Someone's looking at you and thinking, I wish I could do that. Or how did you do that? There's a little bit of awe in this. So realize you're making an impact, whether it's a big or a small one. This is super specific, but it came through in dreams. Some of you are doing some form of volunteer work. It almost looked like it was, I couldn't tell if it was youth or if it was older people because there's a similar sort of energy that's necessary. But folks that were having difficulty taking care of themselves, I saw someone volunteering and helping in sort of like an aid capacity and sort of either had some special needs or needed some assistance. But anyway, there was so much love coming towards you for that kind of work that you may not realize it because the person that you're helping, I also was picking up on a lack of communication. There could be someone that can no longer communicate. You're their star, which is really sweet. There may also be someone in your life that just doesn't have a way with words and they feel like they're swallowing their words, because I was getting that too. So could be some of you too. I mean, we tend to group all Libra as great communicators, but some of you might be more shy. Whatever it is, realize that someone is looking up to you. And then if you're looking up to someone else, let them know it's good to know. Just say, I really appreciate this. You don't have to go overboard and be like a fangirl or fanboy. Just say, thank you so much for doing this. It's been inspiring. So let yourself shine, let your love shine, let other people love you, and realize that you're making an impact. Big or small, it doesn't matter. That's all we're supposed to do on this planet, is make an impact, learn some things, graduate, come back, rinse, repeat. We keep doing it until we've learned everything that our soul wants to learn, okay? Other things with the star card, it's the world, but like, again, on some levels even bigger, because it's saying you really want to go big and go bold if you're going to go forward at all. So it's hard sometimes, right? It's easier to play it safe. But the universe is saying this isn't a time to play it safe when it comes to something that's important. Okay? Okay. Authenticity is the key thing. Let's take a look at what's going on around you. Some confusion. Some of you may be in a place where the leadership is lacking. So the Seven of Cups in reverse is someone that does not have a clue or clear vision of what to do. And I'm sure we've all worked for or with someone who's confused or lacking that. They're kind of flying by the seat of their pants. There's times where that will work. But in business and long-term sustainable structures, no, it's not going to work. So ask the question, be the voice of reason, get the clarity. We see someone reading tea leaves here. It's actually a really beautiful version of the Seven of Cups. When the card is upright, the traditional sort of Seven of Cups is about exploring options and seeing what you're drawn to. So I like that. When it's reversed, it's saying spend a little bit of time doing that in your free time, but don't go overboard. Don't find yourself going down a rabbit hole. Do just enough research to inform your decision and then take a leap of faith. because you have to eventually clear the clouds that are typically a part of this and say, all right, I'm going to take that and move forward with it. So it's decision time, and you're allowed to do a little research. But if you've done online research before too, you know that the more time you spend, sometimes the more conflicting points of view. Just try to find the best information you can in the time given. Use that, inform your decision, move on to the next thing. Because you can think something into oblivion. But there could be confusion around you, in which case you might have to step forward as a leader. Or it might be time to move away from that energy. Because it's not fun to be in a place that's chaotic. And the Seven of Cups as an environment can be chaotic. Because you don't know what anybody's doing or what they're working on, and there's a lack of clarity there. Okay. All right, so let's take a look at your hopes, fears, and opportunities. We have the Nine of Swords, which is stress management, and on some levels, lack of sleep or overworking. I was mentioning some of you might be working 12-hour days or 2 jobs. It's coming through on this one for sure. Take care of yourself. It's one away from the 10, and the 10 of Swords is usually chronic pain or sickness, or basically your body just shutting down and saying, if you won't stop, I'll stop you. And then you have to take a week or 2 off, and that's more costly. Better to say no to a couple of things and lose a couple of dollars here or there than to push yourself to the state where you have to go to the doctor, you're taking sick days, all of that jazz. So think of it that way. People don't always think of it that way, but it's better to take care of your body. This card also can indicate that it's time to clean up the space that you're sleeping in. So if you've got a lot of clutter, I just finished taxes, so I'm in the process now putting everything back into files and putting them into the closet, and I'm done with that until the next quarter, and then I'll pull them out. So it's okay to occasionally have things out, but then put it away, clean things up, move things around if you need to. And in addition to energetic cleansing, whatever form of spiritual cleansing you want to do, whether it's with crystals, smudging, incense, or sound, you can actually play a singing bowl too. There's so many different ways. Then do a little bit of spiritual cleansing in the space too. Sound and smudging they're actually both very good. So the more that I play the singing bowl in this space, the better the energy gets. And before I read this morning, I burned some incense in the house, some frankincense incense. Smells great, feels great. Once a month, I'll also smudge it with sage. You can do whatever's right for you, but definitely you've got to do both the energetic and also the physical cleaning. Okay. All right. Let's see here. The other thing with this is, of all of the swords cards, this and the Two of Swords are the easiest to deal with. This is usually butterflies in your stomach, stress, but it's not. We make more out of something than it needs to be. So it's saying, just show up and see what it's like. It's probably going to be half as intense as you're imagining. Okay. What a gorgeous card to come through here in the outcome. This is basically saying you could be receiving love or an invitation or just some support, or you could be on your way to just feeling a lot happier. The Queen of Cups is in tune with her emotions. She's in the flow of creativity, love, and energy, and I love that she's right there in the middle of the waterfall. So you're actually aligning yourself to be more in the flow of all things abundant, okay? It could be a water sign on the horizon for you, but more likely for most of you, because not all of us are looking for love. Some of us are partnered. Some of us are too busy. What this is really kind of saying is you're in the flow right now energetically to create and to be productive, and what a great way to be. And this is also happiness. So you've been through it. It's been not just a month. For some of you, it's maybe been a year or so of change and movement and adjustment. It's in the past. There's a little bit of fear that some things might return. There might be some persistent thoughts in certain spaces. But look at who's showing up for you. Friends, opportunities, attention, jobs, new things, new developments, partnership, possibly love. It's good. It's great. Dare I say, it's a great month ahead. This is why Libra and all signs that might be watching here, don't worry so much about celestial and lunar events. They accentuate, they help. It's more like putting a little bit of salt, pepper, paprika on something. It's adding a little spice, but it doesn't mean like it's the end of the world, okay? So retrograde is dealing with old stuff. Pay your debts, heal your inner child, and if there's anyone in your life that isn't worth spending time or energy with, time to kind of prune that. That's it. Focus then on other things. If you have to travel, if you have to buy something new, if you're working with machinery, add some contingency. That's it. You can still live. You don't have to live in fear. So that's all retrograde is. It's not the end of the world. The new moon is opportunity. The eclipse is showing you hidden opportunities. So we got this. You got this. All right, we're going to expand this, and we're going to take a look now at the energy of health, wealth, love, and destiny. And I always like to begin first with the energy of health, which is mind, body, and spirit. This is going to give us a chance to see how to be our best and how to sustain. I think that's going to be really important in this period of time. So slow and steady. Got the turtle. It's actually this was a sea turtle, so it can actually move a little faster. But let's look at the card here up close. So turtle spirit, slow and steady wins the race. I always like to associate that like the snail with the Nine of Pentacles. So the Nine of Pentacles represents independence, self-sufficiency, growth, and sustainable growth. Well, who doesn't want all of those things? How do you get that? By being present and moving at the speed you need to move. Not being rushed, not being pushed, not being bothered by others, but saying, no, this is where I'm at, and this is what we're doing next, and I'm good with that. A water turtle moves a little bit faster than a land turtle. So they can not it's not the speediest thing in the ocean, but it can move faster than something on land. You may find yourself sometimes having to traverse unknown terrain, though. When it comes back on land, it's slow, if memory serves me, because I think they have to lay their eggs on the beach and then go back to the ocean. So there are times when you're going to be asked to be out of your comfort zone and things could slow down a little bit, but generally speaking, I feel like you're progressing at the speed that you need to. So just be present. And if you need to slow down, slow down. Let's look at other messages. I mean, I feel like you're in a really good space for opportunities in your life. The only health cards that come up here, there's 3. The rest of them are okay. The Five of Pentacles affects your foot, your ankle, your shin, anything really at the bottom of your leg, but even some circulation in the legs. A lot of times you'll see someone with crutches on this card. I don't need to pull the traditional one. You guys can look at it, but that's basically it. So we want to be careful. If it's slippery out, whether it's rain, snow, or just not great conditions, watch where you're walking. Leave your phone in your pocket when you're out and about. It's better to focus on your surroundings. One time that I had sprained an ankle 10 or 15 years ago, it was just because of that. I was looking at my phone or something and twisted it. And then I was like, well, that was not smart. So definitely be aware of your surroundings. When you're in a car, same thing. Leave that phone on driving mode, focus on what's in front of you, and that's going to be time well spent. Might be good to, again, standard disclaimer on this, I'm not a doctor, so work with a doctor if you're going through anything. But if you're having any circulation issues, bring that up to the doctor. And then maybe just move a little bit more, like get out. It could be swimming, it could be walking. It doesn't have to be intense exercise. Work with your health professionals to figure out a routine that works for your body. This one is stress management. Some of you are just dealing with a lot. Sometimes we need help when we're dealing with a lot. Get the help if you need it. Otherwise, focus on better habits when it comes to sleep, making sure that you go to bed around a certain time, getting up around a certain time, avoiding caffeine after a certain time as well. It's just kind of common sense. Exercise, sleep, and diet are going to really help you get rid of the Nine of Swords. This is a little bit more complicated. The Seven of Cups, when it comes to health, can represent fixation on something. So notice how this one is touching the fear card. So you could be fixated on your fears, you could be fixated on your finances, you could be fixated on popularity, attention, or how people are receiving you. It's your fixation though. It's not it's not where everything else is energetically. So when you fixate on an energy, you reinforce it. When you fixate on or focus on fear, anxiety, and anger or resentment or any of these things, we just make it get bigger. You're making the shadow get bigger. So it's better to diffuse it, to understand where it came from, and to deal with that, and that will help you. This can be confusion. Confusion can be because of lack of clarity and instruction. It could also be that you're so tired, you're working so hard. There comes a point of diminishing returns. It took me a long time as an adult to realize that, but I remember back in school, when I did try to stay up late, there was, after nothing good happened after 1 or 2 a.m., productivity wise. You would make typos, the computer would crash, you wouldn't retain what you were studying. What I learned years later, better to go to bed at like 9 or 10 o'clock and get up at 5, because then I had refreshed my body, my mind, my energy, and I could retain it, and I was attentive, and I wasn't over caffeinated. If you drink too much caffeine, you're just tuned in but not doing anything. So diminishing returns, it could be that. And then it could also be cognitive issues. So if there's something beyond environmental or diet or stress, talk to a doctor for that as well. Okay, that's everything for health. Let's move on to wealth, which is resources, life purpose, career. We have the Luna moth, which I believe is one of the biggest moths that's out there. It's gorgeous. It's nicely connected to our new moon energy that's coming through. It's nocturnal. So when it comes to work, some of you are working a night shift, and that's why I'm getting the 9 of Swords as well. Some of you may just be really cognitively active. So because I work really well intuitively in the early hours of the morning, I do receive energy. I go back to bed after every dream if I can help it. But usually I'll get up around 3 or 5 or 7 or whatever, and I have like 3 different dreams that I can tune into for signs. Otherwise, on days I don't have to do it, I just let it go. But if I'm working, I'll try to record those. But you could be like me, getting inspiration at weird hours. Just type it out. Once I've typed it out, I can put the phone down and go back to sleep. So try to just get it out and then reprogram yourself to wake up at a different point. But if you have to work at night, or if you're getting inspiration later at night, then go with it for the short term. It looks like this is a developmental thing. It's something that will bring you to the next phase, but long term, that probably isn't sustainable. Moth, change, death, rebirth. So for some of you in finance, we're looking at a new job. Leaving something, getting something better. We like that. Not having enough support, getting way more. I was watching something on TikTok. You never know if the TikTok shorts are actually, or clips are real or not, but this was fascinating. There was an HR clip of somebody that was getting interviewed, and they said, well, you were leading the charge last year, and now you're only doing like half the amount of work or something. And he basically said, yeah, because you told me you weren't, I was at the top of everything, but I'm in the middle of the pay scale, and you just didn't want to pay me anymore. So why work? I'll just do half as much as I used to. So some of you might be at a place where they're only giving you half the amount that you're worth, or there's nowhere to go, or they abuse your kindness and your time and your energy, and it's not going anywhere. So don't have that phone call, because that felt to me like 7 of Swords energy. So rather than kind of like pulling back and not doing anything and purposely underperforming, just go to a place where you're appreciated. And if you have to pull back a little bit, pull back, but maybe not as much as that person did. I think the key thing here is to think about, why am I playing games? Playing games energy like that is definitely Moon, Devil, and 7 of Swords. If you have to play games with your employer, you're engaging in low frequency energy. It's not worth it. Not worth it in the long run. Unfortunately, almost every place I work, there is some level of that in corporations. There's always a little bit of an undercurrent of power struggles and who has the keys to the secrets and all that stuff. That's the one thing being self-employed that I don't miss. But I had to work for 15 years in different levels of corporations. And I got 2 degrees, so I had to go through that game of learning stuff and paying for an education that helped, but I don't really need it. So I went through a bunch of bureaucracy as well, so I get it. But find a place where there's less of it, so you can be more yourself, so you don't have to wear that facade that I saw. Make sense? Because yeah, it's not good. Playing games, you're still engaged with that, and that energy is not, you're worth more. Let's go back to the purpose here. You have the face that would launch 1,000 ships. You have this ability to create a lot of love, joy, and movement. Where you're at, Libra, is 6 of Cups, the world, the star, the Queen of Cups. Okay? We don't have the Devil, the 10 of Swords, the 5 of Swords, the 7 of Swords in this spread for you. So you don't have to do that. Okay. Let's see what else is going on for wealth. The main thing here is ask questions. If you want something, ask for it. You have a good chance of getting of it. You might be afraid of it, but what we see here is fear, but they see you as worthy and you get at least a degree of what you want, it's worth asking for it. It's worth stating your intention. I see a new opportunity, like you should be networking right now if you're not, Libra. This is a group of people. This is a group of people. This is people looking at you. This is people looking at you. So you have, and so is Helen. So we have all these people cards and sort of like networking cards. So get out there and meet new people, engage with new opportunities, launch new projects, do new things. New, out with the old. Because the moth just came through the cocoon phase. And instead of a chrysalis, they come through the cocoon, and now it's time to step out a little bit. Okay? I see increased finances. I see some stress, but I see a lot of things to celebrate too. So you're just kind of balancing this all out. If you want to launch a company or do something independently or go for a really bigger title, the Star, the World, and the Queen of Cups, great divine feminine energy. Same thing with the Queen of Swords. You got a lot of kind of like queen-like energy and the top divine feminine energy that I could ask for. So if you can't find it, make it. If you don't see it, ask for it. And that's my advice when it comes to wealth. Let's move on to love. Love is going to be romantic, platonic, friends, family at the beginning. Then we'll go a little deeper into the three aspects that I like to look at. All right, I have Lord Ganesh here. Ganesha is going to help us see the best in any situation, which is why I love using this deck here. So the card is reversed. I love what it has to say. Practice. Practice makes perfect. The spiritual practice says you don't have everything overnight. That's why we keep reincarnating, honestly. Now, you could meet someone as you start to engage in things like yoga, meditation, art, anything that opens up your third eye, your heart, brings you closer to source energy. So doing something passionate brings in other people that are kind of like kindred spirits. And that's what we see here. You in this group standing out like the star, pulling in someone who loves what you're doing. And we have two queens. And I love that. This is basically showing that's you and that's who you're pulling in. There's something or someone from the past that you might need to cut ties with first, or you could have a child, or you could be in a business partnership. There's an existing relationship that has some dynamics here. But I like that these two queens are looking at each other, and I like that they have complementary energy too. So this is a good time to get out there. Again, I feel like you have a chance to attract someone new and something new in your life as well. Let's break it down into three elements here, or three different areas. Looking for love, in love, looking for love, or single and happy. For those of you already in a core relationship, it can be romantic or just the person you unconditionally love. Here's what I see. One or both of you might be moving. So someone could have moved across country or moved in with you, because the World card is crossing all of this fun stuff at the center. This is love and marriage. This is best friend or soulmate or children energy. And this is something big. Some of you have started a family. Some of you have gotten married. Some of you are moving in with each other. Some of you might be moving out, but most of it seems like it's in that sort of energy of connecting. And some of you might have a merged or blended family. This could be an existing son or daughter. There could also be an ex that's in the picture because of that. So it's a blended family with step siblings and step spouses and all that stuff. So, or, exes and all that jazz. So it's blending, but it's blending kind of nice. I like it. So continue to do the work. It's looking good. There's some questions, there's some stress, but I like the people that are coming together, and I think it's worth it. It's worth the work. To quote a line from, was it Pretty in Pink? When the dad is giving Molly Ringwald advice, he's like, do you like him? Then take the heat. If you like this person, then take the heat. Do the work that you need to do. Who cares if there's some challenges? It's worth it overall. I'm not seeing a lot of negatives here. The only thing that is a little bit interesting here is one or both of you may have had some challenges not getting the support you needed as a child. And then you're doubling down to make sure that your family doesn't go through that or your partner doesn't go through that. And there's some healing to do there. When it comes to finances, someone might have had some issues, some debts in the past. So talk about that. It feels like one partner's really good with money. One might have had some challenges, or you're coming from different economic backgrounds, and that'll be some of the merging and stress, but it does feel very manageable, I have to say. If you're separating, it feels like there can be an amicable separation for most of you. Obviously, not everyone's going to fit that template, but I like that these two people are looking at each other and you have the ability to be diplomatic and articulate. Fight for what's important. Okay. For those that are single and looking, yes, it's easy this month. Yes, you can find someone. Yes, they're coming through as a water sign. They're very closely matched with you. You or the other partner may have a child, or you might be looking to start a family quickly, because I already see the energy of the child around you or around them. That's what this hidden knight can be. And we have a children related card here. So children, family here as well. So yeah, if you're looking to start a family, there's a lot of great energy around that here as well. If you're just looking for love and nothing serious, it may be hard right now because it feels like you could fall fast for someone, or someone is looking for the real thing. So it could be a difficult time to just casually date, I'll be honest with that. But you are pulling in a lot of positive energy, so get out there, see what's available. I would say for you, focus on health and finances. Figure out what you want. The more clear you are on that, the more this person's going to be aligned. And the more you work on that in yourself, the more you're aligned. But we have some really great cards for partnership this month, I have to say. So yes, you can find someone, and yes, pretty quickly, but yes, they're also very serious. So if you're not serious, that's the fly in the ointment. If you're single and happy, good for you. You have the ability right now to, again, like planning parties and events off the charts. I see lots of RSVPs. I see lots of attention. I see press. I see people moving around you, personal development. Like, it's a good time to just focus on finishing whatever you want to finish, but you're not going to be in an isolated state. Even here, we just have 3 court cards at the top, but so many people cards here in the mix. So you're worth it. Say yes to things, go out there, initiate conversations. This is an interesting month, Libra. Keep me posted in the comments below and let me know how things are going. All right, let's take a look at your destiny card. So we have Guardian of the Soul family coming through for this. Some of you are very protective, I mentioned this, of your current or future families because, again, there just may have been a lack of support in the past. You may also be realizing the importance of the, I like to call it the chosen family, but soul family works as well. So the best friends that you have in your life that are coming through, these are the people that stick around long after. Like when you get to a certain age, parents are gone, siblings may lose touch with you, and it starts to become sort of like the family you build. So I see that coming through. It's not, I'm going to say this too, hot take on this. Blood relatives, good to have, interesting sometimes, but not essential to happiness, completion, or having a family. Because you don't really get much of a choice. It's more chosen on the soul level. You learn karmic lessons from them, and sometimes you wish you could have more space, but you can't. But the chosen friends in your life, you get to choose, and it's so much more powerful because there's a choice. This is why sometimes I think that Apollo's in the other room, but like when you're adopting a pet or you adopt a child, that it's even more powerful because you 100% wanted that energy and you chose it and you brought it in with an open heart. So friends, and then that sort of like rescue pets and adopted children, and all of this is sort of like, that can be even deeper. Blood, not essential. Think about the people that you come to love romantically. You don't want to, that's like, you don't need to have a blood connection, obviously, to love somebody. So focus on these non-familial connections this month. I think it's super powerful. And that's where some of the opportunity is knocking, okay? Let's take a look now at sun, rising, and moon messages for those of you that might have tuned in, especially for rising and moon. And let's see what's coming through. And then I'll take a look at the big idea. Okay, got 2 for sun. We'll let it be. Rising and moon. All right, we'll start first with the dual energy for all the sun sign, which is great since I'm primarily reading this reading for sun. 8 of Cups in reverse, making, breaking cyclops. Oh my God, we love that. So yeah, there's partnership coming through, folks. But the necessary step first is deciding, what do I want? What don't I want? and so much water coming through for you. I would not be surprised if there's a Cancer or a Scorpio or a Pisces that's coming into your life right now. So you're already here. You're up there. And there could be someone swimming upstream to come and meet you, but this could also just be you waiting for someone new. And this card can represent the two different extremes. Are you willing and ready to kind of go back into the past and reconnect, or are you going to let something new come through? And the choice is yours. But it might be necessary to say, I'm done with X, Y, or Z, and then I'm ready for this first. So there's that inner decision. And once you do that, then that person can come through, or that opportunity can come through. I love that we see lotus blossoms here, right around these mer people, and that there's this feeling of divine partnership and union. This is a higher partnership too. This is one that you're going to feel it on the crown chakra, because that's what the lotus represents. The next big relationship, whether it's platonic or romantic, it's easy to anticipate what they want. You have common interests. It's fun to spend time. It's easy, but there's a lot of intellectual attraction. I mean, this is still attractive too. We like the Two of Cups, but I'm getting intellectual as being sort of the key to stimulating all the other things in your life. So yeah, that's cool. You should be able to have a conversation with this person. It could be someone from the past, and this is like the do or die moment. You're either gonna go for it now or not. This is a second chances card, but it's also saying, if you don't want something, say no to that, allow something new to come in. This month is good for making and breaking cycles. This good is fantastic for partnering up. And you have the ability to continue to call in opportunities throughout it. So yay, Libra. For my rising and ascendant Libras, we have another amazing card, the Magician. Also, look how he's kind of in the center of this. It's nicely aligned with the outcome, which was in the flow. So we see all the cards in this deck, all the aces in front of him. And he's basically saying, I'm manifesting in real time. This is really good for business and work, which is what the ascendant touches anyway. So you have the ability to open doors, manifest opportunities. And the most important thing as you're doing all of this is clarity, boundaries, and get it in writing, obviously. But you're capable of really bringing what you want to bring forward. So never underestimate your capabilities. And I think that's the key takeaway here. Focus and stay affirmative. Moving on to the moon sign. This is one of the most empowered ones that we got here. We have the Emperor. I like that he's taking charge. I like that he's also looking at all of the openings, all of the opportunities. And this isn't an emperor sitting on the throne. This is an emperor getting out there and saying, I think we agreed to this, or where are we at on this? So it's a very hands-on leadership this month, in the mix for sure. And I kept seeing that house with all the different ways of entering, windows and doors and things of that nature. So I like that we see all of these opportunities or portals in front of you. You decide, yes to this, no to this. Let's leave that one open. I'm not sure. But there is that direction and that clarity that it sits with you this month. People, more likely than not, are going to say, I don't know, where do you sit on this? And that can be difficult sometimes, because it's always nicer to get it from someone else, because then you can blame them. But if something goes well, the flip side is true. You get the support and the acclaim for it. So if it's worth it, take the heat. We're going to keep saying that this month. All right. By the way, we're going to look at the big idea. This is one overarching energy for everybody, irrespective of placement. Let's see what is coming through for Libra. Interesting. Okay. So big idea this month is you're only trapped if you think you are. This Eight of Swords, we see a bird where there's clearly an opening, just right in front of us. And there always is an opening in the Eight of Swords. But sometimes through a lack of, maybe it's curiosity, courage, or even support to look in different spaces or imagine yourself in different directions, the bird just needs to turn around. Sometimes too, when you're used to limits, you're afraid to take flight. There's no top to this cage. But what's going on here? The bird might be conditioned to stay put. So you are moving contrary to conditioning. Conditioning from parents, society, friends, and maybe even your own expectations. And you're going to say, well, what'll happen if I just open the door, if I just spread my wings a little bit, if I just try it? So try something new, ask questions. If you don't know, it's okay. Take the blinders off and just sort of see what the world has to show you and to offer up. And that's the main thing. I was looking to see if there was any text on those, but there isn't on top of that. It looks like they were just like barbed wires or something. But I do see a way out. And it just involves trying something different, moving in a different direction. Redirection, I think, is really key, especially with respect to the world card here right at the center. Okay, I think we hit on all of the main topics. We're going to now get ready for the meditation sound bath and final card. Before I do that, if you like what you see here, do me a favor, hit like, subscribe. Let's hit another milestone together. You can also follow me on social media to get reminders of upcoming readings. You can show a little bit of love and support here as well, and this helps me develop new things like I talked about, new projects, new specials, etc. By the way, I don't offer private readings, and on almost all the platforms I'm verified except for TikTok. But always look for the check, always go to my website if you have any questions, never accept a friend invite, always let me know if you see something like that. Okay, so let's talk about this next piece here. We're going to meditate together, and then if you have a question I haven't yet answered, hold it for a few moments, write it down or whatever, and then we'll take a look and we'll pull a card for that. As I'm looking at all of this, I really want to kind of help you be the constellation, be the light in your life. So let's do that. Okay, close your eyes for a moment, please. Take a nice deep breath. On the exhale, release any sort of tension in your shoulder or your back, shoulders or back, and then kind of, if you want to move your shoulders up and forward a little bit, switch directions and kind of just loosen it up, you can. And now just imagine that you're laying on a, what do you call that? Well, you could just be laying on the ground, but I was thinking of something else, a hammock. There you go. A hammock between two trees, looking at the beautiful firmament above you. It's majestic midnight blue, and you can see the stars starting to shine through. Imagine, if you will, that you have the capacity in this meditation to take your fingers and create stars in the sky, create a pattern in the firmament. What would your symbol look like? What would your constellation be? Maybe allow it to be sort of like a sigil or avatar for something you want to create. So if it's love, it could be a heart. If it's opportunity, it could be a coin. If it's something else, you can create that and trace it in the stars above you. So imagine that you're creating an avatar or a symbol or a sigil for something that you want to see. We did a little bit of this on the weekend, but now we're going to make a constellation, not just put it in your energy. So see the constellation take form and take a nice deep breath. And as you exhale, imagine that all this beautiful light and energy from your heart goes in and it lights up the constellation in the sky. Sit back, if you will, and just allow that light to shine back on you and to enlighten you with the next steps in the journey. Hold on to your question, and then we'll look at that in just a few moments after this sound bath. All right, taking a nice deep breath. Let go of anything that you've been holding on to. Focus just on that constellation. Allow it to be a part of your mind. Imagine that it's kind of right there on the third eye. And as you open your eyes, I want you to open yourself up to the possibility, and not just that, but the probability that the thing that you're trying to bring into your life is already just one step away. Focus now on the final question that you have for me, whatever that might be, and let's take a look and see what's coming through. All right, Queen of Pentacles. That's a great card to end with today. So the Queen of Pentacles is a yes. Look at how she's allowing for support to come through. She's completely comfortable with allowing some other people to come in and to hold her up or to kind of shower her with gifts and opportunities. So one of the messages here is to accept love, abundance, and opportunity in the highest form when it comes in. You deserve it. There's also a message here to get grounded and focus on what it is that you want to do next. This is second only to the Empress card when it comes to being able to birth, create, or nurture something new in your life. So it's a really good energy for, again, starting something new. So there's a lot to love with that. And it's very auspicious with respect to finances. So whatever it is that you're doing for school, personal development, or work, it seems to be something that's going to pay off in the long run. So continued encouragement from the cards with respect to that. All right, let's take a couple moments now just to say thanks. I want to say thanks to everybody who found me, whether you just were searching through YouTube or you've been watching me for, 8.5 years. Either way, thank you so much for being a part of today's reading and presentation. Let's take a moment now to say thanks to the newest members and the newest Super Sticker and Super Chat supporters. All right, so we had a few that joined yesterday. I'm going to start at the top because I think Bonita joined today. So Bonita, thank you so much for joining today. We have Lone Wolf, Christy, Kelly, Bridget, Ms. Patchouli, and I think that's everybody from the last 12 hours that joined. So thanks to all those folks, whether they're present or not. I appreciate you. Super Stickers and Super Chat, I just want to say a quick shout out and then we'll wrap up. So for today, Lydia, thanks for kicking things off. Thank you also to Damla, Jessica, Lydia again, Sloopy, and Jordan Gloss. You guys rock too. Thank you so much for being a part of today's presentation. That's everything for today. I'll be back again on Thursday and Friday. I'll make sure to put those links up later today so you can click the reminders. And I'm here every Sunday, and I also do a daily reading as well. Because we have so many celestial events this week, I'll also do a special combination reading for eclipse, new moon, and the Mercury retrograde. We'll probably do a slightly longer one, maybe 30 minutes for that. So keep an eye out on the main channel. Again, if you haven't already subscribed, this is the time to do it. Opt into all notifications. You can go to my website too and sign up for my newsletter. All right. Thank you everybody for being a part of today. Wishing you lots of love and light. Have a great week and a great month ahead. It looks like it's going to be exciting for everyone, actually. Lots of opportunities. All right. Take care. Bye-bye.